Sometimes the people you test end up testing your heart. That was the first thought that crossed Emma Gray's mind the night she pretended to sleep. Emma wasn't just any woman, she was the youngest CEO in the history of her company, a woman who built an empire from nothing but her own grit. Her reputation? Cold. Unbreakable. The kind of woman who could look a storm in the eye and make it apologize for showing up late. But lately, something had been missing. She had everything: money, respect, a corner office with a skyline view. Yet every night, she returned to her penthouse, where silence was her only companion, until he arrived, Daniel Reed. A single dad, she met him through her company's new project, a foundation supporting working parents. Daniel had applied for a janitorial job just to support his little daughter, Lily. His resume was thin, his clothes old, but his eyes, they carried a kind of honesty Emma hadn't seen in years, and for reasons she couldn't explain, she hired him on the spot. At first, it was just professionalism. Then curiosity. Then something deeper. Daniel worked quietly, never complained, and never took more than he needed. He was the last to leave the office, sometimes with his sleeping daughter on his shoulder, her tiny arms wrapped around his neck. Emma often found herself watching from her glass office above, her heart tightening every time. One evening, Emma decided to stay late, finishing up reports. It was raining outside, the kind of rain that made the city lights shimmer like tears. Daniel was working overtime, mopping the marble floors. Lily sat on a nearby chair, coloring with a few worn-out crayons. Emma walked over, trying to sound casual. "It's late, Daniel. You should take Lily home." He smiled softly. "Just 10 more minutes, Miss Gray. Rent's due tomorrow." That simple line pierced something inside her. After that night, she began noticing him more. The way he smiled at Lily, the way he talked to everyone with quiet kindness. He wasn't just cleaning floors, he was holding his world together, piece by piece. But one rumor started spreading, whispers that Daniel might be stealing office supplies. Expensive things had gone missing, and he was the easiest to blame. Emma didn't believe it. Not truly. But part of her, hardened by years of betrayal, wanted proof. So, one evening, she came up with an idea. She told Daniel she needed help with maintenance in her office after hours. When he arrived, she pretended to fall asleep on the couch, leaving her purse, with her wallet and jewelry, right beside her. If he was guilty, she'd know. Daniel hesitated at the door. "Are you sure, Miss Gray? I can come back tomorrow." She murmured something about being fine, then closed her eyes, pretending to drift off. For several minutes, she heard nothing but the faint hum of the city below. Then, quiet footsteps. Her heartbeat quickened. He walked closer. She could sense him standing near her. Then, softly, he knelt. Her heart froze, but not because he took something, because she felt a blanket being placed gently over her shoulders. And then she heard him whisper, barely a breath, "You work too hard, Miss Gray. You remind me of Lily's mom. She never rested either." Emma's throat tightened. She wanted to open her eyes, to speak, but she couldn't move. He wasn't stealing. He was caring. After a moment, she heard soft humming. Daniel had gone back to his work, quietly singing a lullaby to Lily while mopping the floors, his voice tired but tender. That was the night something inside Emma cracked open. The next day, she called Daniel into her office. He looked nervous, clutching his cap in his hands. "Daniel," she said, her voice soft. "About last night." He froze. I'm sorry if I overstepped. I just thought you looked cold." "No," she interrupted, smiling faintly. "You didn't overstep. You reminded me what kindness looks like." He blinked, confused. She walked around her desk, handing him an envelope. "That's your promotion letter. You'll be supervising maintenance for all branches starting next month." He stared, stunned. I don't know what to say." "Say you'll buy Lily some new crayons," she said, smiling. He laughed, a sound so pure it warmed the entire room. Over time, their lives began to intertwine. Emma visited Lily's school plays, and Lily started calling her Aunt Emma. The once lonely CEO found herself smiling more, laughing again. She discovered that success meant nothing if you didn't have someone to share it with, but life had one last test. A few months later, Daniel fell ill. Stress and exhaustion had caught up to him. Emma was there, day and night, making sure Lily had someone to hold on to. One evening, when he was recovering in the hospital, he looked at her and said, "You know, Miss Gray, when you hired me, I thought I was saving my daughter's future. But it turns out, you saved mine." Her eyes welled up. She took his hand. "No, Daniel. You saved me from forgetting how to feel." That night, Emma sat beside Lily, watching her sleep, the same blanket Daniel had once placed over her now covering the little girl, and she whispered, "Sometimes we test others to see their truth, but the truth is, they end up teaching us what real love looks like." If you felt that emotion, if it made your heart pause for a moment, then don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe for more heart-touching stories that remind us, the world still has good people, because sometimes, the smallest act of care can change a person's life forever.